Next on the list, we need to go ahead and get this track bar removed. There's a ball joint on that side over there. It's got a cotter key, a castle nut, and then there's a nut and a bolt right here. That will get this track bar off so that it's out of the way. We've got to change that ball joint on that side over there, and then this bracket needs to come down so that we can put the one that comes with the lift kit on there. That's a relocation bracket that drops it down some. And then we also need to get this steering gearbox out because it's leaking, and it'll make it a lot easier whenever that bracket's out of the way, because the gearbox is very large under there. Makes it a lot easier to drop it whenever that's out of the way. So since we've got to pull it anyways, we're going to go ahead and drop it and get that out of the way so we can get this gearbox changed out and move on with this project. So for here, this is a 30 mil metric bolt and nut. So I'm going to hold it with one side and then use the impact on the other side over here and go ahead and get that bolt loose. Okay, that's out of the way. Now next I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to leave the bolt in there so that the track bar stays up inside there while I remove that side over there until I get the tapered fit loose. So I'm going to go ahead and get that cotter key out, the castle nut loose, and drop down so that I can hit that with the hammer and get that loose. Okay, now that the track bar is loose, the axle is just kind of dangling here. We'll go ahead and remove the castle nut. Always put it back even though we're replacing this guy. And then we're going to pull that bolt out and then drop the track bar completely down. Just like that. Now to remove this bracket, we've got several bolts and nuts right here, and then two up under there, and then this bracket will come out. Like I said, we're going to be discarding this bracket because we have a new one for the new setup. So I'm going to go ahead and get, it looks about like a 19. There's probably it's got a cross brace under here, so it'll keep all of the bolts where they need to be. So let me get the socket for that, and it's either an 18 or 19 just by looking at it, and then we'll get that down. I'm sorry, it's bigger than that. This one looks like the 18 right there. So we're gonna go and get those loose, and then I'll get a 21 for that other one. So the outside two were 18s, and those inside, it's got to be 21. And I've got a little bit of antifreeze dropping down because I do have the coolant tank out above, because I'm doing some other work on this truck too. So there's the bracket. going to set that aside. I'm just going to go ahead and pop these nuts back on here so I don't lose them. And now we've got wide open access to get this gearbox out. Put these back where they go so I don't lose them or forget which ones go there. So from here we've got for the gearbox, and this job isn't required whenever you're doing a front end rebuild. I'm just doing this one because it's leaking. It's just a couple of lines up there, disconnect the steering shaft and it'll pop right out since we're already here. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut the video off for that and get this replaced. And then we'll continue the video when we're putting the front end back together. So stay tuned. Okay, YouTube, we're gonna continue on with this job with this Power Stroke. We're doing the front end. I had to take a couple days break. I was not feeling well for several days, the bug that's running around. But we're back at it. And we've done a few other things to this truck. We've gone and put the lift springs in, the new shocks, the radius arm drop brackets. We've done some other stuff that are, you know, in addition to doing this front end rebuild. But right now we need to get this track bar ball joint out. It's got a little bit of play in it. Whenever I was doing my front end shakedown, it's got some play in it. These right here are commonly missed. Excuse my cough here. They're commonly missed when people are doing front ends. People think of whenever we're doing the front end just doing tie rods and ball joints. Yes, this is a ball joint, but it's always forgotten. This is one of the main reasons for death wobble, because it connects the bar, which is called the track bar, from here to the frame up there, which centers the differential. If those have any play and you hit bumps, the diff can bounce back and forth, ending up sending you into death wobble. So we've got a new one for right here that's going on this kit. So we got to get this one out. They are not fun to get out. I've had some come out like butter, and then some of them are a royal pain to get out. So I don't know what this one's going to be like. We'll find out here in a second. But with everything else on this truck, I would say it's probably not going to be very fun. There is a snap ring down here, so just use your snap ring pliers, get that out. Just as such. And I believe this one has been replaced before. This looks like a Moog, so it may not be so bad to get out. But the method I've found that works the best is put a little bit of heat right here and then use an air hammer and just hammer the heck out of it to get it out. Some people can use a ball joint press. The hammer seems to work the best for me. So I think I should have enough angle. Yeah, I should. Okay, just want to make sure I had enough angle there. May need to go up on this jack a little bit. This diff sits a little lower now. Okay, I think that's good. Should be a better angle. So I'm gonna put a little bit of heat right here on this, on the flange on the diff. I'm just using standard map gas. Try not to get the boot to catch, because those things can burn a little bit. Hook up to our air hammer and let her eat. Okay.
think I'm on the highest setting. And this one's going to be a pain. And they do go upwards, not down, so keep that in mind. From here, I'm just gonna use the hammer and knock it the rest of the way out here. I'm running out of room with that air hammer. Just like that. I don't want to grab that thing. There we go. And that is a Moog, so it's been replaced. So we're gonna clean up the top side of this right here and get the new one ready to go back in. Get the ball joint press. We're gonna use it. I've tried to use the ball joint press to remove these before, but they're pretty stubborn. They don't want to come out, so it's almost pointless to use. Maybe that new fancy $900 snap-on one might do it, but I don't have that one. I've got the Matco. So we'll clean this up and get the new ball joint in place and get it pressed in. So give me just a moment and I'll set that up. All right, we've got the new one here. Same thing. That's the XRF brand. And get it positioned in place right there. Ball joint press opened up. There's not really enough room for an impact doing this. You kind of have to do it by hand. Just due to the depth between the differential and the frame. You just have to use this ball joint press by hand on this. Okay, we're going to use this guy on top. As so. And then this set up on the bottom. And get it to position on as so. Make sure that it's straight on your top of your ball joint. And then see, there's not enough room right there, so I'm just gonna use this. This one's going in very easy, which I'm not sure how much I like. And just like that, you have the track bar ball joint installed. So we're going to take the camera, we're going to go inside the shop, we're going to go and replace the bushing on the track bar so that we can get this installed in here and get this thing back together today. Okay, we have the track bar here. What we got to get out is this bushing, and it's in there in a tight fit. There's a little bit of rubber between the part that goes around the bolt and the part that is pressed into this arm. Again, I like to use my air hammer. Hopefully you guys have one, and you can use. You just kind of have to get in there and start beating on it. And once you can get the lip to push inward some, it'll loosen up some of the tension on it. Sometimes you got to get a sawzall and cut the center out, and then cut the ring to get it to release. But I'm gonna try with the air hammer first, and then if not, I'll get the sawzall after it. Alright guys, on this track bar, what I've done here is I've punched out the center section with the press, and then I've taken my sawzall and cut a couple slits just in the sleeve here, and that way I can use my air hammer and bust this this center section out. So we're gonna do that now. Hard to hold this and do it at the same time. Just like that. So we didn't do any damage to the inside of this. We're going to be using a polyurethane bushing going back in. Now it's pretty self-explanatory, but it'll take you multiple attempts to get that thing in. Unfortunately, I can't take my camera over there. There's not really a place for me to put my camera to show you guys how to put it in. But it's a hard polyurethane bushing, one piece, that you have to get lipped through here and press it in. I recommend using a lot of grease or Vaseline or something to lubricate it, to get it to slide through, and it's got to be on both sides. The lip has to be on both sides of this, and then there's a bar that slides through the center section of it. So I'm gonna go ahead and take care of that, and then I'll show you guys what it looks like after it's done, and then we'll get this track bar installed and get this truck back together. All right, we've got this bushing in here now, so we're gonna go ahead and install the sleeve in the center of it to get it to spread all the way out here. These things are kind of a booger to get in, so we're gonna do our best here and get this to seat all the way inside here. May I get the press out again and get that in. Okay, as you can see, we've got the new bushing installed and got the collar on the inside. That's what the bolt actually puts pressure on. I did put grease on that whenever I put that in, so that it will have something to slide around on. Just use standard wheel bearing grease. So at this point, we're ready to install this track bar, get this differential centered up, and then we're gonna get the sway bar connected back up. We had that loose for the lift kit that we installed. So going back with this, it's pretty simple. I'll have to find where I put the nut for that track bar ball joint. Apologize for the wind here. It's a little windy today. Now this right here may be a little tight going up in, just because it's fresh. Use the hammer. Alright, now we need to move this differential over some. The easiest way that we're going to be able to do that is we're going to put a jack under this side over here, so that it can kind of hinge it over this way, so we can just get the bolt in. We're not going to tighten it until we're completely done, and make sure everything's centered up and lined up like it's supposed to be. There you guys can see that new track bar bracket up here that's part of the lift kit. It relocates it down further to allow for the differential to stay centered, and if it was way up there it would pull the diff to the driver's side. Hopefully this will push that over. Yep, it's going over. Hold it right there. Oh, now we're in a bind. Come down with it. We're in a bind now. I need the big pry bar. The collar is not centering up inside there, so. All right, now go up a little bit with the jack. Okay. Now, this may have another bolt to use. I'm gonna go check and see if there's one in the kit, because this doesn't fit flush in there. There's a gap there. Let me check.